How's it going, everybody? Well, for the first time since December 6, 1970, the Green Bay Packers have defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Final score, Green Bay Packers 35, Pittsburgh Steelers 25. The Green Bay Packers are now 4-0 when they are wearing their all-white winter warning unis. The Pittsburgh Steelers also in some interesting uniforms, I would say. They're 1933 throwbacks, which, in my opinion, are pretty nice, but did not help them at all. National Tight End Day, and man, it was a big, big day for the Green Bay Packers tight end Tucker Kraft. We'll get into all that. It was certainly the tale of two halves. The Green Bay Packers not playing well in the first half at all. Outscored 16-9, but I don't know what kind of message Matt LaFleur had for the Packers going into the locker room, but whatever it was, it worked as the Green Bay Packers came out and shut down Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, outscoring them 28-9 in the second half. And man, oh man, what a game. What a game. First time Aaron Rodgers has went up against his former team, and it was fun. It was fun. As a Green Bay Packers fan, it's still weird for me to see Aaron in anything but the green and gold. But I really enjoyed seeing him tonight and really enjoyed Jordan taking him down as well. Couple notes here. The inactive list for the Green Bay Packers was Dontavian Wicks, Lucas Haversick, Jacob Monk, Jennings, Lucas Van Ness, and Bryson. And the active players, Matthew Golden, who was questionable, Brandon McManus, who made his return after 2 weeks from a quad injury, Devontae Wyatt finally coming back, and Christian Watson finally being activated and back on the field for the first time since he tore his ACL against the Chicago Bears in January. And his impact was immediately felt. And I was so happy to see Christian back out there. And he's back, man. He is back. Let's start with the stats. Jordan Love, 29 of 37, 360 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he was not sacked at all. TJ Watt almost got to him a couple times, but was never able to take him down. At one point, out of those 29 completions, 20 of those were straight completions. Straight completions. Incredible. That is the first time a Green Bay Packer has had 20 straight completions since Brett Favre in 2007. That's something Aaron Rodgers hasn't even done. So Jordan Love, absolutely deadly, on fire the last 7 weeks. He's been an absolute stud. And Jordan Love has now played 5 games on Sunday night. He has thrown for 1,449 yards, 14 tutties, 0 interceptions. So Jordan Love on Sunday night doesn't get much better, man. It really doesn't. Getting into the rush attack, Emmanuel Wilson, he had 11 attempts for 61 yards. A lot of those yards coming in the second half as he started pounding the ball and continuing the long drives for the Packers, getting first downs, being able to assure that the Green Bay Packers were able to lock down the final score. Josh Jacobs, 13 attempts, 33 yards, and a touchdown. Josh Jacobs is inevitable. It did seem that Josh Jacobs still isn't 100%, which is why they would split between him and Wilson. But, of course, Josh Jacobs still getting in the end zone, still getting it done. Leading the Packers in receiving and also leading the NFL in receiving yards on National Tight Ends Day. The best tight end in the league, Tucker Kraft. 7 receptions, 143 yards, 2 tutties. A lot of those yards coming off of yards after catch, which is why we call him Kraft Yak and Cheese. The receptions, yards, and touchdowns are all career highs for Tucker Kraft. And like I said, the 143 yards leads the NFL in receiving yards this Sunday. So an absolute perfect game from Tucker Kraft on National Tight Ends Day. Christian Watson in his return, his presence was immediately felt. He had 4 receptions for 85 yards. A couple of those catches, big catches. So happy to see Christian back out on the field. Romeo Doubs, 3 receptions for 44 yards. And Savion Williams, the rookie from TCU, he had 1 reception, 8 yards, and a tutty. His first career touchdown. So exciting to see. Didn't get Matthew Golden in there just yet, but he had a couple good catches. Couple drives for the Packers on the offensive side, especially in the first half where they struggled. Had a rare drop from Tuck, a drop from Romeo, but overall, in the second half, they completely cleaned it up and just dominated and shut down the Steelers. On the defensive side of the ball, Xavier McKinney led the team with 7 tackles. Cooper had a forced fumble. It was a big forced fumble, and that was recovered by Javon Bullard. The Packers also should have had another fumble, but Aaron Rodgers, being the smart quarterback that he is, was able to get it down. But the pressure that the Packers had on Aaron today was awesome. That was what I was thinking. The only way the Packers were going to be able to defeat the Steelers and lock down Aaron Rodgers was to get to him quick and force him to get the ball out quick and not allow him to sit back in the pocket and just dice up the secondary. 3 sacks on A-Rod today. Rashawn Gary had 2. Micah Parsons had 1. Carrington Valentine, so happy to see him out on the field. I do not understand why he only had 2 snaps last week. But I love seeing him back out on the field. I don't think I saw Nate Hobbs once. And I think that was definitely made a difference. Carrington had a couple really good defensive plays, knocking the ball out. He had a touchdown saving PBU on DK Metcalf. Keyshawn struggled in the first half, but he cleaned it up in the second half. Overall, the Packers' defense was excellent in the second half. They locked down the GOAT. And just really thinking back to the second half, I can't really think of any big plays that the Steelers had at all. One concerning thing for the day, which probably would have made this game, would have pretty much put a nice bow on this game earlier. Brandon McManus was 2 for 4 on his field goals. He was 3 for 3 on extra points, but the Packers did leave 6 points out on the field, which would have locked this game down earlier. But overall, it ended up not mattering. But that's a little concerning. Maybe kind of think that maybe Brandon wasn't 100% just yet, and maybe the Packers could have got away with having Lucas in for 1 more week, but now we have another week for Brandon to be able to heal up, and hopefully he's back to prime McManus next week against Carolina. Going into a couple stats for the Pittsburgh Steelers, A-Rod said in his press conference after the game that he heard the Go Pack Go chants. He said he'd heard it for 18 years, and it was the first time in a while he's had to use the silent chat at home. So that's a big shout out to all the Packer fans who traveled to Pittsburgh tonight and were shouting Go Pack Go. A-Rod, 24 for 36, 219 yards, 2 tutties, sacked 3 times. A lot of that, the touchdown, and a good chunk of those yards was kind of garbage time right at the end of the fourth quarter. So the Packers locked him down even more. A-Rod, all that smelling salts, man, did not help him tonight. Warren was their leading rusher. He had 13 attempts for 62 yards. Roman Wilson was their leading receiver. He had 4 receptions, 74 yards, and a touchdown. That touchdown coming at that garbage time. DK Metcalf was, for the most part, locked down pretty good. He had 5 receptions, 55 yards, and a touchdown. Nice little quick slant touchdown from A-Rod. A note that I do have here with Metcalf, It was, I believe, the first or second drive for the Steelers in the second half. They were doing fairly well. They were running the ball well. It was 3rd and 2, and DK Metcalf could not contain his emotions. Quay Walker was doing some trash talk, and DK tried to poke him and then grabbed Quay's face mask, got a penalty, moved that from a 3rd and 2 all the way back to a 3rd and 17, and the Steelers were unable to convert and gave the ball right back to the Packers, and the Packers went and scored. I wrote that down because I think that was a big momentum shift for the Steelers to not be able to continue that drive because it was going pretty good. The Steelers in the first half did a really, really good job of running and moving the ball down the field. They were kind of tearing up that Packers defense because the Packers offense was not playing well. The defense was not able to get any rest. They were kind of gassed right away. So at the end of the first half, this did not look like a good game. But the offense was able to pick it up, and this Steelers defense, who did a number on the Cincinnati Bengals on Thursday night last week, were pretty much held in check. It's a big shout out to the Packers defense holding the GOAT to pretty much average numbers. Kenneth Gainwell, big fumble, punched out by Coop. Chris Boswell, he was 4 for 4 on field goals. That's a big testament to the Packers defense in the first half, even though they were tired, was being able to hold the Steelers. Once the Steelers got up into field goal range, they were able to slow their drive down and force field goals. That was huge for the Packers. Big for the Steelers getting 16 points instead of probably should have been 28 points in the first half. Going over some box scores for both teams, the time of possession pretty similar. Packers 31 minutes, 48 seconds. Steelers 28 minutes, 12 seconds. The Packers had 22 first downs. The Steelers 16. This right here was big. Packers were 5 of 12 on third down, which is not great. The Green Bay Packers coming in this game, still one of the best teams on third down in the NFL. The Pittsburgh Steelers 1 for 10 on third down. Not good at all. Not good at all. Fourth down, each team was 1 for 1. Packers ran 63 plays, the Steelers 57. Penalty-wise, for the most part, both teams were pretty disciplined. The Packers had 5 penalties for 47 yards, and the Steelers had 6 penalties for 65 yards. Overall, this was a fun game. Going into it as a Packer fan, I was kind of indifferent. And I was, of course, rooting for the Packers and hoping that Aaron had his worst hoping that Aaron had a bad game from a statistical standpoint. But to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have been that upset had Aaron taken down the Packers, because if he did, he would have been just the 5th quarterback all time to defeat all 32 teams. He would have joined Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Brett Favre to be the only quarterbacks to ever do that. But I don't know if Aaron will get another chance. He has said that this is going to be his last season, but we'll see. But tonight was all about Jordan Love and Tucker Kraft and the Green Bay Packers putting on, in my opinion, their best showing since their performance against the Commies all the way back in Week 2. This gives me a lot of hope for the Packers heading into the remainder of this season. We're about halfway there. And, the Packers' best record in the NFC, still holding on to the number 1 seed and a hold on the NFC North. Packers, like I said, 5-1-1. They will host the Carolina Panthers. Panthers sitting at 4-4. They got absolutely wrecked by the Bills today. We'll see how Bryce Young is doing. We'll check on that when I do my predictions later this upcoming week. We'll see if it'll be Bryce Young or Andy Dalton. The Green Bay Packers will be in their 1923 throwback jersey, so I'm excited to see those on the field. The Pittsburgh Steelers fall to 4-3, and they got a rough one. They're hosting the 7-1 Indianapolis Colts next week. And looking ahead at the schedule for the Steelers, it does not look good. This was a big loss for the Steelers. The Steelers need help on offense. I wouldn't be surprised if before the trade deadline they go and they pick up some wide receiver. It's not going to be like a Justin Jefferson or anything like that, but maybe Tyler Lockett. But Aaron needs some help. We'll see if Mike Tomlin gives him that help. But the Packers, excellent performance tonight. Happy Packer fan tonight. Pookie was able to slay the GOAT, and just an overall great game. I wish nothing but the best to Aaron Rodgers for the remainder of the season, but I'm glad that he was stopped tonight. So that's all I gotta say. Just a perfect night to be a Packer fan. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all this week for predictions and next Sunday. Thanks for watching. Go Pack Go.